Hello, hello. It is your girl T Bessard, and you have probably been approached about Talk Fusion, and you wanted to get a little bit of information on what we are, what we're doing, and why we were talking to you about this video technology. Well, as you know, email is a thing, right? Everybody's getting rid of paper statements. I hate to say that I am technologically challenged, and I'm not big on putting stuff on the internet. It kind of it's been a little bit of a transition for me. But all these companies are forcing us to move to email, right? You're no longer getting paper statements from your credit card companies and even the hospitals, right? Everything's going online and via email. So, with that being said, we know that email is going to be, it is and going to continue to be a very essential product for individuals, right? You have a lot of folks that, as big as social media has gotten, there are a lot of people that still will not engage with social media. I would be one of those, okay? But because I am in the working world, I do know the importance of social and the value that social media brings. So I am online and kind of getting with the times. Well, Talk Fusion allows you to enhance your communications with your customers, your prospects, people, individuals, nonprofits. It allows you to enhance those communications, right? There's a few ways that it does it, and I'm going to share. But I like to always share, why we're sharing this with you and who I am, because when there's a new kind of concept, it's not a new concept because everything is an email. But you think about Constant Contact, if you're familiar with Constant Contact or MailChimp, Aweber, all of these are email marketing services. I know Constant Contact did provide video, but you had to pay a pretty penny in order to include video in your Constant Contact templates and email services. And oftentimes it did require script writing. That's why I was not a big fan of Constant Contact, because you then needed a business mentor to show you how to do script writing to get your content out there. And that was a little bit frustrating from someone that is very technologically challenged. So I come from a corporate banking background. I spent 19 years with a Fortune 500 bank as vice president in commercial lending. So I used to, prior to doing the commercial lending side, I was a financial advisor with the same Fortune 500 bank. So I went from investments, fully licensed, my 63, the 7, my life and disability. I had them all, okay? And I'm one of those, I'm a helper. I like helping people. And when it gets to the point that I'm no longer helping, and I don't want to say money, people are money driven, then if it moves outside of my core, which is to help people, then I kind of move on to other things. So that was what was happening in the financial industry at the time. I'm going to go age myself. I know I probably look 21. No, but I was back in the days when they were switching, at the time it was A shares, which would give you your upfront commissions, and you had B shares that would give you a portion of your upfront commissions, but then it also gave you commissions on the back end. Well, C shares were the way that we were annuitizing our payments, right? You didn't get much upfront at all, but it annuitized on the back end, basically getting paid for performance. Well, I was of the club that saw C shares really, really early, before it became a thing. It was trying to get the firm to buy into us doing C shares, because I just believe in working smarter, not harder. Well, at the time, right, it was all about production. They preferred B shares. Now, guess what? Everything is portfolio managed, right? So I had switched over. I said, you know what? I'm over the non-FDIC insured options, because, I'm not going to keep, I hate to use the word churning, but I'm not going to be turning people, selling them one product to the next and not having any skin in the game. And I felt like C shares would put skin in the game, because you got paid as a customer as their accounts were performing. It wasn't about getting paid today, which is what the bank wanted. It was about long-term payments. Well, they eventually got their act together and went over there, but I was already like, oh no, I'm not a salesperson, you guys. I'm just not a salesperson. I help people and I show them the value in things. And then that's, I unfortunately, I've been very successful in sales because of my ability to help and show value and give people things that they want and that they need, not necessarily just for the benefit of the company that I'm working with. So just kind of put that out there. So I moved over to commercial lending. And as I mentioned, worked my way through the bank, made it up to vice president, and was very successful. The bank decided that they wanted to go higher up with $200 million loans, and my space was up to $75 million loans. I did love large corporations, but that just wasn't in my wheelhouse. And I had a lot of clients. I've been with the bank for 19 years, right? So I built some amazing relationships. And when the bank started squeezing all those guys out, I determined I would go to a community bank, a local community bank that we can make local decisions and really help service and still give customers that warm and fuzzy feeling that my big bank was squeezing them out of. So here comes Talk Fusion. I started using this video email marketing service to connect with clients, introduce myself going over to the other bank. And when you're on a vice president level of a corporation, it comes with a lot of responsibilities, right? And when I say that, I say normally a lot of top conference calls, right? You're on conference call after conference call, meeting, but there's also goals for the bank. So in essence, you have to be in 50 places at one time. And I needed to figure out a way to cut that down. And that's how I found Talk Fusion. I found it from a person on LinkedIn, and I fell in love with the product. I started using it to communicate, and boy, going from 19 years at this bank to another bank that nobody knew and was familiar with, I was able to equally find success in a very rapid way, which also made me sing praises for video marketing. I am a huge proponent of video marketing. Not only would I send my customers my message, so I could spend 5 minutes in the morning, hey Frank, we have your loan documents, or, let's meet for lunch, whatever those messages were, take 5 minutes in the morning, record them all, and throughout the day I can send them out. Now, what made it beautiful is that it had back-end reporting and analytics. So I was able to see when the message was being delivered to the intended recipient. I was able to see when they watched the video. I was able to see that they clicked through to the website. I was able to see them sending me emails, if they forwarded it to social media, whatever was tracking with that video email, I was able to do. Amazing, great, okay? I apologize for being long-winded, but because if you're getting this video, then that means you need a little bit more information than what we initially shared. So I just kind of want to give you some more nitty-gritty on that. So with that being said, I would use this tool to allow me to be in 50 places at one time, because I could send several messages to folks and get it out there, or if there were follow-ups, things that were needed. This thing was amazing. If I wanted to recognize my clients' anniversaries, their wedding, birthdays. I don't do birthdays, but I would always do anniversaries and important milestone dates, right? Congratulations, if it's a graduation, if we were doing appointment reminders. This thing has all of it built in. So it's a video marketing service. All these templates, it's over 1,000 templates. Last thing I heard, I think we're up to 1,500. We have it translated in multiple languages. Coming out of the gate, we are currently in pre-launch. So by the time you're looking at this, we'll probably be launching. But if you catch us in pre-launch, that is great. Once we launch, we'll be able to show you the actual tools and how it works. But in pre-launch, you have 12 different languages, fully translated the entire business. So the templates, everything is in your own native language. As we launch, our CEO has committed, if there are other languages that we need to add, he will add them. So this is a huge opportunity. And you've been identified as one of the countries that we are actually doing business in. And we are looking for people that will use the service and report back on how it's going, right? You're going to see your increase in communications. You're going to see your increase in sales. I call this often, with social media, right? Everybody's doing business on Instagram and TikTok. Facebook doesn't do so well with selling business and doing business, but we sneak and use it anyway. But it doesn't yield a lot of results. Some, but not a lot, right? So I call this technology stop the scroll, right? This is how you're converting people, the lookers, right, to buyers, right? You're converting your leads to sales. You are staying relevant for your clients and the people that you're communicating with. From a family standpoint, I hate to say share it this way, but it's a perfect tool to share with your family members that you don't necessarily want to be in the room with too long, right? You can easily send them a personalized template, right? Just thinking of you, just saying hello, or we're on vacation, right? And you just send a quick little video, and guess what? It's off to the family. And these are folks maybe that you may not communicate with all the time, but you can see that they got the message, that they looked at it. It will give you all those analytics, and you can rest assured that you're doing the right thing as a responsible family member, as a responsible business owner, and really working to engage and encourage and increase sales for your individual businesses. So I often say this tool can take you from a baby shower to the boardroom. That is how in-depth and amazing this tool is. So we just want to invite you to take a look at it. We do have presentations that we can invite you to. We can do a live demonstration. There's various things that are available, but I didn't want to give you enough information to be dangerous. as a promoter, someone that uses the product and encourages other folks to sign up and use. That's how we grow, is by sharing with other people. When you share it with other people, you get paid in 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, very, very nice. If it's not your focus, then guess what? That's okay. But if someone else purchases the product as a result of you, the company will actually pay you for that. They'll give you, there's several different ways that we get paid that we can talk about. But again, from a product standpoint, it is phenomenal. From a promoter standpoint, it is beautiful. We're in 165 countries, so the ability for your business to get exposure in other nations and markets is almost automatic. I don't want to say it's automatic, but you have the ability because of our wide footprint. So thank you so much for taking this. I know I spent $10. I got to work on talking a little bit less, okay? But I'm very transparent. I'm big on making sure you get all the information. So, definitely get back to whomever invited you to take a look to get some more, give you a little bit more insight so that we can get you formally into the information. And we look forward to chatting with you more. Have a great day.